What's up guys, my name is Sab, welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. Today we're going to be going over how to heal Scarlet Enclave. Let's get right into it, starting off with Balnazar. Quick little snippet here. You're going to be positioned between the middle of the fountain and the gate. The boss is going to be pulled from the fountain to the gate to allow maximum DPS uptime during the transition from phase 1 to phase 2, which is the air phase. You're going to want to stay right in the middle there, allowing for healing to be going across to everyone, either whether it being melee or ranged, wherever they're at. Just focus on healing. Then he's going to transition into phase 2, which is his air phase. That is when the light on the ground is going to be there. You're going to want to get into a light. Make sure you're kind of on the edge just in case you get the carrion swarm. And you're going to want to back up and just heal. Make sure everyone stays topped up. There's going to be a lot of damage coming out. You're going to want to make sure you dispel all of the fears and make sure that your tanks are always fear warded if you have priests in your group. During phase 3, Balnazar is going to come down to the ground. He's going to drop these elementals. You're going to want to stand inside the elementals. And if you're a priest, one thing that we like to do is we like to put a barrier down, which a barrier allows for extra damage reduction that's coming out, because all the melee are going to be stacked up in that nice tight hole where the elementals are, which allows them to have light, and the ranger are going to be still on the edges, staying away from most of the damage. And if you do that correctly, then you'll end up getting the kill. Next boss. Beatrix is a very simple boss to heal. It's gotten nerfed all the way into the ground, so it shouldn't be very hard for you to handle. What you're going to do is you're going to just keep the team topped up in the beginning phase, throw a couple renews out, make sure if there is this, soak it. Everyone has to soak it. You take minimal damage. It is the easiest way to do it. Just minimal damage from soaking it. Look at that. Barely enough. If one person's out, it can basically wipe the whole raid. It's very, very important you soak that. The biggest healing cooldowns you're going to need is probably going to be during one of the phases that comes out. The marching men is not hard at all. You get a dot on you and it takes minimal damage. It's like 800 per tick. Most healers can heal through that. Just make sure that you try to avoid it as yourself to minimize the amount of healing you have to put out for yourself instead of others. The High Priest's abilities, he's going to put out a big ray of lines, and if you're near anyone, it'll actually cause you to have damage. So make sure you guys stay spread out from that and don't have any distance between, you want to have a lot of distance between you and the other person. Stock break will make 3 people on your team go down to 1 health with 3-second window to get them healed up before they start taking a damage again. So make sure you prio those people that are getting hit by stock break or they will die. And if everything works out, the boss dies. Next boss. Soul of Straws is a very interesting boss because there's a bunch of raid-wide mechanics that do go out. So if you are, shamans have chain heal, they want to prio those. You have your mages, they want to make sure that they have each group designated, separated out. You don't want to have mages overlapping because the amount of raid-wide damage that does come out during Soul of Straws is a lot. During between phases 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, there's this red phase. And the whole raid will take damage. You need to make sure you prio people that are low because they will go fast. The next mechanic that does come out that has a lot of damage is Consecration. If people avoid it, you don't have to worry about it, but there's times where people will not avoid it and you have to heal them up really quick. And the other thing is Whelps. Whelps will come down in packs of 3. What you should do is have your team kill 1 at a time, starting with 1 and then killing the other 2 after, because it decreases the amount of raid-wide damage going out, because every time one dies, it explodes, causing raid-wide damage. So anytime you see whelps come up, make sure you prio those group heals. The whelps and the fire phase will happen 4 times throughout the boss fight. So make sure you coordinate your cooldowns for healing accordingly. On to the next boss. I'm going to talk very briefly about Mason. Mason is the easiest fight in this whole entire raid for healers, as long as people stay out of the fire. If people stay out of the fire, you win. What's going to happen is you're going to have the phase. You have to go up, grab cannonballs, shoot Mason with the cannonballs. If you want, you can kind of stay by the boats to give some off heals to people going up on the boats. But other than that, just Dropping a couple renews here and there. A lot of your healing for this fight is going to be overhealing because this boss doesn't do damage that much, except for to the tank. On to the next boss. Alexei the Beastmaster is a little tricky, okay? You're going to want to position all of your ranged healers on top of the house, shack thing. What that does is it allows them to avoid all mechanics completely when it comes to the ground traps and other debuffs that come from being near the bosses, because you want to have 5 people on each side of the boss, right? So they're shifting around every time they get 2 stacks. It's very, very easy if you just stack up on top. If you're ranged, just stack up top. It's very simple. Reborn Council. Reborn Council, if you have the damage output, easy fight. However, if your team misses a kick, you're going to have cooldowns ready. What's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of group healing, when that does come out, because what's going to happen is, the whole team is going to get hit by a debuff and it's going to tick down slowly, all the way down. So make sure you prio, if your team does miss a kick, make sure you prio heal everyone as fast as you can. The next thing is you want to focus on dispels. If you do not dispel the tank, if you do not dispel your team during the slow, they will die. If you should have over 30 dispels during this fight. Make sure you prio them 100%. Old cheese spot for ranged healers, you're going to want to be put right on the edge of the ledge here where my character is put, because you miss the fires, but you still have to avoid the hammers coming down. So make sure you watch for swirlies coming down the ground right here. You can see it. There's a couple more. I'm probably going to avoid one here in a second. Yep, right here. Make sure you avoid those still, because those still will one-shot you if you do not move. Lillian Voss is a easy fight now. They actually nerfed it a lot, so that you don't have to use an old god anymore if you're a clothy or a lower level leatherware. Basically, what you want to do is have your camera all the way up top so you can see any type of swirlies that are on the ground. You're going to want to save a lot of your main focus heals for when the fire comes out, because it still does taking damage, but it's not as much as it was previous to the patch on April 28th. So you're going to want to focus heal those people during the fire phase. We still use barrier for this, for priests, just to reduce the damage on the melee that are having to kind of stack in kind of tight on the boss to still get damage. The one thing you can do as a priest is shield people that are getting the poisons or the big blue debuff on them, because what's going to happen is they're still going to explode, but with a shield on them, it kind of reduces the damage a little bit. So good thing to prio. But if you see this right here, the damage going out is not as bad as it was previous. Previous to that, it was, you'd get 3 ticked and you'd be dead. So other than that, make sure your positioning is in the corner. The corner is the best place to stay for this fight. And if you win, kill a boss. Next one. I'm going to spend a little more time on Calderon, because Calderon is a lot more of a heal-intensive fight in the first phase rather than the last phase. So basically during the first phase, you're going to want to position yourself in this little nook corner right here on the left side pillar, because what happens is positioning yourself there allows for the ads to not hit you, and you also aligning siding them, but you're still able to get heals off to your team. There's 3 phases technically to this fight. Phase 1, phase 1.5, and then phase 2. During phase 1, there's going to be a little bit of damage coming out. You're going to want to make sure you focus on making sure you get the executing sentence off the tank. So you're going to have to put PI, bark skin, something that reduces damage, because it's going to hit the tank for a lot of damage. That's going to be happening every 2 minutes. So basically when the fight starts, it's 2-minute timer. That's going to be when the first one comes out. Then after that, there's going to be a total of 4 during the whole fight. The 4th one may or may not happen, depends on how you phase the fight. There's going to be these orbs that come out. Make sure you move them to the left or right side. That's the plan that we like to do. But the main damage is going to be coming during phase 1.5. 1.5 is when the Ashbringer comes out, and it's going to just pound damage, non-stop raid damage until you kill it. All right, so the Ashbringer phase is beginning. So what's going to happen here is that it's going to, you can see it's raid-wide damage. You get a little debuff here. It's going to just tick down. We use Barrier. Barrier is very, very vital for this because it reduces damage by 25% for 10 seconds. With 2 priests, we have 20 seconds of 25% reduced damage. When you see the Barrier drop, you can see how much the health will deplete. So Barrier drops, you can see there's a lot more damage going out to the teams. We have really good healers, so it's not as bad, but a lot of damage still pouring out. And then when it phases like this, you're going to want to make sure you keep everyone topped up because they're still going to be taking damage on the way to this portal. Once you've gotten to the portal, then basically the next step is to just DPS for 4 minutes. A lot of your paladins are going to stay on the heals for the tanks because the tanks are going to be really the only ones taking damage during that phase. You can throw out a couple shields for the melee because they may get damaged when the ads do come out. But mainly just DPS because the more you help DPS, the faster the boss dies. Another big trick is that if you stay faced away from Calderon, for most healers, you can stay faced away and not have to worry about the blind mechanic at all. That's one thing to think about too. So after you reach stage 4, which is basically phase 2.5, you're going to have to finish him off. This is the final phase. This is the kill phase. There's going to be respawns of everyone that's in the actual raid itself. So Herod's going to come back, Vishos, Beatrix, everyone that was in the raid is going to respawn and do a special ability. So right here, there's going to be a meteor coming down any second now. The meteor's going to come down. It's going to cause a lot of raid-wide damage. There's stock break. You got to make sure you peel those people up. There's going to be a lot of things that happen. This is the most chaotic part of the whole fight. Just keep everyone topped up as much as possible and do as much damage reduction as you can to help. And as always, if everything works out, you get the kill. Congratulations, you've successfully made it through Scarlet Enclave. If you want a more in-depth stuff, let me know. This is kind of just a quick guide. It's pointing out some tips that may help you during this fight. And with that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, weekend, night, wherever you're watching from. And if you want to watch more, make sure to like, subscribe, put post notifications on, and let me know down in the comments what kind of videos you like to want to see. You know, do you want to watch more SOD content? Do you want to watch more priest content? What kind of content would be best for you? Let me know down in the comments below, and I will be able to help out as much as possible. Peace!